Colombia's national territory presents a profoundly rich and complex archaeological record, revealing a mosaic of pre-Columbian civilizations that achieved remarkable cultural developments. This episode explores 30 incredible sites and discoveries, from monumental archaeological complexes and extensive necropolises to sacred ceremonial centers and sophisticated hydraulic engineering projects. The material culture uncovered, including exquisite goldwork crafted using the lost wax casting technique, intricate ceramic figurines, and enigmatic megalithic sculptures, provides critical insight into ancient funerary practices, cosmological beliefs, and complex social hierarchies. Through the examination of hypogea, shell middens, rock art panels, and urban terraces, we piece together the diverse histories of cultures like the Tairona, Muisca, Quimbaya, and Zenú, whose legacies, preserved at sites like Ciudad Perdida and San Agustín, continue to shape our understanding of the pre-Hispanic Americas.
Colombia's most incredible archaeological discoveries that rewrote history. The lost city of the Tairona, nestled within the dense, mist-shrouded jungles of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, a unique and isolated mountain range that ascends from the Caribbean coast to snow-capped peaks. The Ciudad Perdida, or Tairona, as it is known to the indigenous peoples, stands as a monumental testament to the engineering genius and spiritual depth of the Tairona civilization, a culture that began its development around 200 years before the Common Era and flourished until the time of the Spanish conquest in the early 16th century after the Common Era. This sprawling urban center, believed to have been founded around 800 years after the Common Era, predates the famous Inca citadel of Machu Picchu by over half a millennium, establishing it as one of the most ancient and significant pre-Columbian cities in all of the Americas. The discovery of the city in the early 1970s by treasure hunters who followed a series of moss-covered stone steps deep into the untouched wilderness sent ripples through the archaeological world, revealing a complex of breathtaking scale and sophistication that had been reclaimed by the jungle for centuries. The entire city is a masterpiece of landscape architecture, comprising over 250 terraces carved meticulously into the steep mountainsides, creating vast, flat platforms that served as the foundations for circular, thatch-roofed houses for an estimated population of 2,000 to 3,000 people, as well as ceremonial plazas, political centers, and spaces for social and economic activities. These terraces are interconnected by a sophisticated network of stone-paved pathways and staircases that snake through the ravines and along the ridges, forming a cohesive urban plan that integrated the settlement seamlessly with the challenging topography of the region. A particularly advanced feature of this city is its comprehensive water management system, which includes stone-lined canals and drainage channels designed to control the immense torrents of tropical rainfall, preventing erosion and channeling water away from living areas, while also providing a freshwater supply for the inhabitants. The spiritual significance of the city is palpable in its layout, which is believed to be a physical representation of the Tairona cosmos, with specific terraces and plazas aligned with sacred mountains and celestial bodies, serving as centers for shamanic rituals and community gatherings. For the contemporary indigenous communities of the Kogi, Wiwa, Arhuaco, and Cancuamo, who consider themselves the direct descendants of the Tairona, Ciudad Perdida is not a ruin, but the sacred heart of the world, a living temple where they continued to perform rituals and offerings to maintain the spiritual balance of the universe. The ongoing archaeological work at the site, conducted in careful collaboration with these indigenous communities, continues to reveal new insights into the social structure, trade networks, and daily life of its ancient inhabitants, while the challenging multi-day trek required to reach it today ensures that visitors undergo a transformative journey that mirrors the isolation and majesty this lost city has experienced for centuries, solidifying its status as one of Colombia's most profound and awe-inspiring cultural treasures.
The stone statues of San Agustín, spanning a vast and dramatically beautiful landscape of rolling green hills, deep canyons, and winding streams in the department of Huila, the archaeological parks of San Agustín, Alto de los Ídolos, and Alto de las Piedras collectively form one of the world's most extensive and enigmatic necropolises, a sprawling city of the dead that was a major religious and ceremonial center for a constellation of cultures that developed in the region from approximately the 1st century before the Common Era until the 16th century after the Common Era. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is renowned for its staggering collection of over 600 monolithic stone statues, the largest such assemblage in South America, which stand as silent, powerful guardians over ancient burial mounds and tombs, their enigmatic expressions and hybrid forms offering a tantalizing glimpse into a complex spiritual worldview. These sculptures, carved from volcanic rock with remarkable skill and artistry, range in height from a few dozen centimeters to over 4 meters, depicting a mesmerizing pantheon of deities, mythical creatures, shamanic figures, and anthropomorphic beings that often blend human features with those of powerful animals such as jaguars, eagles, serpents, and frogs, symbolizing the transformation between human and animal states and the shaman's connection to the spirit world. The statues were strategically placed to protect and accompany the elite in their journey to the afterlife, located within and around elaborate burial mounds known as tumuli, which contain deep shaft tombs lined with stone slabs and massive stone sarcophagi, often carved with intricate designs and sometimes featuring smaller accompanying statues inside. Beyond the burial sites, the spiritual heart of San Agustín is perhaps best embodied by the Fuente de Lavapatas, an astonishing ceremonial complex where ancient artisans meticulously carved a complex labyrinth of pools, channels, and small altars directly into the bedrock of a stream, creating a sacred water shrine where it is believed rituals of purification, healing, and offerings to water deities were performed, with the sound and flow of the water integral to the ceremonies. The sheer diversity of artistic styles found across the different sites suggests that San Agustín was a pilgrimage destination for peoples from across the northern Andes, a pan-regional sacred center where different groups shared and expressed their beliefs through the medium of stone over the course of nearly 2 millennia. The process of discovery, which began in earnest in the 18th century after the Common Era and continues systematically to this day, has painstakingly mapped and conserved these monuments, yet the meanings of many symbols and the precise nature of the rituals performed here remain partially shrouded in mystery, inviting continuous research and interpretation. Walking through the misty landscapes of San Agustín, surrounded by the silent, watchful stone figures, is to walk through an open-air museum of pre-Columbian spirituality, a place where the boundary between the world of the living and the realm of the ancestors, gods, and nature spirits was believed to be thin, and where the artistic genius of ancient Colombian cultures found one of its most enduring and powerful expressions. The underground tombs of Tierra Dentro. In the rugged mountainous highlands of the Cauca department, the archaeological park of Tierra Dentro, another UNESCO World Heritage Site,
preserves a unique and profound funerary tradition that stands in stark contrast to the above-ground monuments of San Agustín, focusing its architectural and artistic genius deep beneath the Earth's surface. This culture, which flourished primarily between the 7th and 9th centuries after the Common Era, created an extensive and sophisticated network of hypogea, or subterranean burial tombs, which represent one of the most distinctive and complex mortuary practices in the pre-Columbian Americas. These are not simple burial pits, but elaborate, man-made caverns painstakingly excavated to depths of up to 12 meters into the soft volcanic tuff of the mountainsides, often featuring a vertical entrance shaft that opens into a main chamber, and in the most complex examples, multiple side chambers arranged around a central pillar, all carved with incredible precision using rudimentary stone and wood tools. The true magnificence of these tombs is revealed upon entering their dark, cool interiors, where the walls, ceilings, and supporting columns are lavishly decorated with intricate polychrome paintings and red, black, and white pigments, creating a vibrant and symbolic underworld for the deceased. The designs are predominantly geometric, featuring zigzags, spirals, triangles, and concentric circles, but also include anthropomorphic figures with wide, staring eyes and zoomorphic representations, all forming a complex iconography that likely maps the culture's cosmological beliefs, perhaps depicting the journey of the soul through the underworld or representing the structure of a multi-layered universe. The largest of these hypogea, found in areas like Segovia and El Duende, are monumental in scale and were clearly reserved for high-status individuals, chiefs, or powerful shamans, containing multiple niches and spaces that may have held numerous burials or rich funerary offerings, though many were looted long before scientific excavation began. The effort required to excavate these deep chambers, remove the debris, and then decorate them with such meticulous care speaks volumes about the social organization and the immense spiritual importance this culture placed on honoring the dead and creating a permanent, sacred space for their eternal rest, a stark contrast to the more ephemeral structures of daily life. The surface of the landscape is also dotted with stone statues, though smaller and less elaborate than those of San Agustín, and numerous burial mounds, indicating that the hypogea were part of a broader ceremonial complex. The discovery and ongoing study of tierra dentro, which began systematically in the first half of the 20th century after the Common Era, provide an unparalleled window into the funerary beliefs and artistic sophistication of an ancient society that chose to invest its greatest creative energies not in temples for the living, but in elaborately painted houses for the dead, ensuring their leaders and ancestors would reside forever in a beautifully rendered spiritual realm hidden within the heart of the mountains.
The ancient city of El Infernito, on the high-altitude plains of the Boyacá department near the modern town of Villa de Leyva, lies the pre-Columbian archaeological site known as El Infernito, a name meaning Little Hell, that was dismissively bestowed by Spanish conquistadores who encountered the mysterious arrangement of stones and could not comprehend its purpose. We now understand this site to be a sophisticated and extensive astronomical observatory and ceremonial center constructed by the Muisca civilization, one of the four great advanced cultures of the Americas, with its origins dating back to several centuries before the Common Era. The site consists of numerous parallel rows of precisely aligned cylindrical stone pillars, or menhirs, erected over a large field, creating a landscape that functioned as a colossal calendar and a sacred space for rituals deeply connected to the Muisca's agricultural cycle and cosmological beliefs. The alignment of these pillars was meticulously planned to correspond with the rising and setting points of the sun on the horizon during the solstices and equinoxes, allowing Muisca priests, known as yeques, to accurately track the solar year and determine the critical times for planting and harvesting their crops, which was the foundation of their society's economy and survival. Beyond its practical function, El Infiernito was a profoundly spiritual site where the sun, worshipped as the god Sue, was believed to dictate the cycles of life, and the observatory served as a point of communication with this powerful deity. The site also features a number of large, upright stone phalli, which are clear symbols of fertility, linking the astronomical observations directly to rituals intended to ensure the procreation of people, animals, and the fertility of the land itself, a vital concern for an agricultural society. Furthermore, archaeological investigations have revealed the presence of underground burial mounds in the vicinity, connecting the site of celestial observation with the veneration of ancestors, thereby creating a holistic sacred geography that integrated the cycles of the cosmos, the fertility of the earth, and the lineage of the people. The engineering knowledge required to transport, erect, and align these heavy stone columns demonstrates an advanced understanding of mathematics and astronomy developed entirely independently from European or other Old World influences. El Infiernito therefore stands as a powerful rebuttal to the conquistadores' derogatory label, revealing itself not as a place of hellish confusion, but as a university of the sky, a temple of the sun, and a laboratory of the seasons, embodying the intellectual and spiritual achievements of the Muisca, who mastered their environment through careful observation and ritual, making it one of the most important and revealing pre-Columbian astronomical sites in the entire Western Hemisphere.
The Gold Museum's treasure. While not a single geographical site, the archaeological discovery represented by the Museo del Oro Gold Museum in Bogotá is a collective treasure of immeasurable value, housing the world's most extensive and exquisite collection of pre-Hispanic goldwork with over 34,000 pieces of gold and tumbaga, a gold-copper alloy, drawn from the myriad cultures that flourished across the territory of modern Colombia before the 16th century after the Common Era. This museum is not merely a display of wealth, but a profound narrative of the technological, artistic, and spiritual life of ancient Colombian societies, including the Quimbaya, Calima, Muisca, Tairona, Zenú, Tolima, and many others, with each piece serving as a direct artifact of a complex worldview where metal was not currency but a sacred material connected to the divine. The techniques employed by these master metallurgists were incredibly advanced, most notably the lost wax casting method, which allowed for the creation of intricate, three-dimensional objects of stunning complexity and beauty, such as the iconic Poporo Quimbaya, a ceremonial container for lime used in coca leaf chewing, renowned for its perfect symmetry and elegant anthropomorphic form. Another universally celebrated piece is the Muisca raft, a breathtaking golden model discovered in a clay pot in a cave near the town of Pasca, which depicts the legendary El Dorado ceremony in miniature, with a chieftain standing at the center, surrounded by priests and oarsmen on a raft, all adorned with gold, as they make offerings of gold and emeralds into the sacred Lake Guatavita, a ritual that historically marked the accession of a new ruler and sparked the centuries-long European quest for a city of gold. Beyond these famous examples, the collection encompasses an astonishing variety of objects: elaborate face masks, nose rings, ear ornaments, pectorals, pendants, and musical instruments, all richly decorated with zoomorphic and anthropomorphic motifs that reflect a deep connection to nature and the spirit world, where jaguars, serpents, birds, and bats were seen as powerful shamanic allies. The museum's archaeological significance lies in its role as a unified repository for artifacts excavated from hundreds of individual sites, tombs, sacred lakes, and settlements, allowing for comparative study and a comprehensive understanding of regional styles and shared beliefs across different cultures and time periods. Each object, from the simplest ring to the most complex multi-part pendant, tells a story of ritual use, social status, and cosmological belief, revealing how these ancient peoples used their unparalleled skill to give tangible form to their gods, their leaders, and their understanding of the universe, making the Museo del Oro not just a museum, but the definitive archaeological and spiritual archive of pre-Columbian Colombia,
a place where the golden voice of the ancestors can still be heard.
The Quimbaya treasure collection is a specific and extraordinarily refined collection of 122 gold objects discovered in two neighboring tombs in the region of Quindío around the year 1890 after the Common Era, a find that has since become synonymous with the pinnacle of pre-Columbian metallurgical artistry from the classic Quimbaya period, dating between the 4th and 7th centuries after the Common Era. This collection, which was later gifted to the Spanish crown and is now housed in the Museum of America in Madrid, stands out even within the context of Colombia's rich gold-working traditions for its exceptional aesthetic quality, its remarkable naturalism, and the technical perfection achieved in its creation, almost exclusively through the sophisticated lost wax casting process. The artifacts are predominantly ritual in nature, including numerous paporos, lime containers, vessels, crowns, helmets, and ornate pendants. But what truly distinguishes the treasure is its profound focus on the human form, rendered with a degree of realism, individuality, and serene elegance that is rare in pre-Columbian art. The human figures are depicted in relaxed, seated postures with carefully detailed facial features, ethnic insignia, and body adornments, exuding a sense of calm authority and contemplative life. Alongside these anthropomorphic representations are exquisitely crafted zoomorphic figures, including bats, armadillos, birds, and lizards, all executed with meticulous attention to anatomical detail and a graceful, flowing aesthetic that brings the creatures to life in gleaming metal. The most famous single piece from the hoard is the Papora Quimbaya, an object of sublime beauty and perfect symmetry that has become a national icon of Colombia, representing the harmonious blend of utilitarian function and high art. The archaeological context of the find, as a complete funerary offering, suggests it was created for a high-ranking chieftain or a powerful shaman, intended for use in the afterlife, and its survival as an intact assemblage provides an unparalleled window into the ritual practices, social hierarchy, and aesthetic values of the Quimbaya people during their cultural zenith. The tragedy of the Quimbaya treasure lies in its location outside of Colombia, a source of ongoing cultural and diplomatic discussion. But its legacy endures as a powerful testament to the artistic genius of a civilization that transformed a precious metal into a medium for expressing the deepest aspects of human and spiritual identity, setting a benchmark for pre-Columbian goldwork that remains unsurpassed.
The sacred lake of Guatavita. The Laguna de Guatavita, a perfectly circular, serene body of water, nestled in a crater-like basin high in the mountains of Cundinamarca, is far more than a natural wonder. It is the primordial source of the legendary El Dorado myth, and one of the most spiritually charged archaeological and historical landscapes in all of the Americas, serving as a paramount ceremonial site for the Muisca Confederation for centuries before the Common Era and into the early colonial period. The legend, as recorded by Spanish chroniclers who witnessed a version of the ritual, describes a magnificent ceremony where the newly elected Muisca ruler, the Zipa, would cover his naked body in an adhesive layer of gold dust, transforming himself into a living manifestation of the sun god, and aboard a ceremonial raft laden with a fortune in gold and emerald offerings, would be rowed to the center of the lake by 4 high priests. There, in a crescendo of music and chanting, the golden chief would cast the treasures into the dark waters as an offering to the goddess of the lake, Chie, to secure her blessings for a prosperous and fertile reign, a ritual that symbolized the contract between the ruler, the people, and the divine forces of nature. This powerful image captured the European imagination and ignited a frantic, obsessive, and ultimately destructive quest for a city of gold that would shape the conquest of the continent. Throughout the 16th and 17th centuries after the Common Era, multiple ambitious and costly attempts were made to drain the lake, including a consortium that cut a deep notch in its rim, significantly lowering the water level and yielding a modest recovery of gold artifacts from the exposed mud, enough to confirm the historical basis of the ceremony, but never the fabled city itself. The true archaeological significance of Guatavita, therefore, lies not in a single spectacular find, but in its powerful testimony to a complex and enduring ritual tradition, illustrating how a natural feature could be sacralized to become the focal point of a culture's political and spiritual life. The lake itself, with its isolated, dramatic setting and almost perfectly circular form, functioned as a natural temple, a liminal space where the human world communicated directly with the powerful deities of the underworld and water. Today, as a protected archaeological reserve, the lake continues to be a place of profound atmosphere and pilgrimage, its quiet waters holding the secrets of the Muisca's golden offerings and the dreams of the conquistadors, embodying the poignant collision of two worlds and standing as an enduring symbol of the spiritual wealth that the European invaders could never comprehend or possess.
The prehistoric rock art of Chiribiquete. The Serranía de Chiribiquete National Natural Park, a remote and immense tabletop mountain formation, or tepui, deep within the Colombian Amazon rainforest, safeguards one of the most extraordinary and ancient archaeological treasures on the planet. The largest collection of rock art in the world, with an estimated 75,000 individual paintings adorning the vertical walls of over 60 rock shelters, a monumental artistic narrative that earned its UNESCO World Heritage designation as the Sistine Chapel of the Amazon. The paintings, executed primarily in red ochre mineral pigment, were created over a staggering temporal span, with the earliest evidence of human presence dating back to over 20,000 years before the Common Era, and the artistic tradition continuing unbroken into the 19th and possibly even the 20th century after the Common Era, representing a continuous record of human thought and belief unparalleled in the Americas. The iconography depicted is breathtaking in its scale and variety, featuring giant, majestic jaguars, deer, tapirs, crocodiles, and a menagerie of other animals alongside human-like figures engaged in hunting, dancing, fighting, and ceremonial scenes, often with a strong emphasis on shamanic transformation, where human figures are depicted with animal attributes, blurring the boundaries between species and reflecting a worldview where humans, animals, and spirits were intimately interconnected. The jaguar, a symbol of power and fertility, is a dominant and recurring motif, appearing in countless forms and sizes, suggesting its central role in the cosmology of the artists. The sheer inaccessibility of the tepui, which rise sheer from the forest floor, indicates that these were not casual campsites, but sacred sanctuaries, likely used for initiation rites, vision quests, and other important rituals by shamanic practitioners over millennia. The discovery of Chiribiquete by the outside world is remarkably recent, with the first scientific reports emerging only in the 1980s, after the Common Era, and vast areas remaining unexplored to this day, meaning that each new expedition has the potential to reveal new panels and deepen our understanding. The site's archaeological significance is revolutionary, as the depictions of now extinct Ice Age megafauna confirm a human presence in the Amazon during the Pleistocene, challenging previous models of the peopling of the continent and demonstrating that the rainforest was not a pristine wilderness, but a landscape deeply known, interpreted, and sacralized by humans for tens of thousands of years. Chiribiquete is thus not merely an art gallery, it is a library of human history, a sacred landscape that chronicles the deep time relationship between humanity and the Amazon, making it one of the most important and humbling archaeological discoveries of our time.
The ancient salt mines of Zipaquirá,
the modern wonder of the Salt Cathedral of Zipaquirá, a vast underground Catholic church constructed within the tunnels of a salt mine, is built upon a foundation of far greater antiquity, for the halite deposits of Zipaquirá have been in continuous, large-scale operation for over 2 millennia, with archaeological evidence confirming that the Muisca Confederation began systematic salt extraction here as early as the 5th century before the Common Era. This resource, known as white gold, became the fundamental economic engine of the Muisca civilization, providing them with a commodity of immense value that was traded across a vast network extending throughout the Colombian Andes and beyond, exchanged for gold, emeralds, cotton, coca, and other goods, and establishing the Muisca as a dominant economic power in the region. The pre-Hispanic mining techniques were remarkably sophisticated. Using tools made of stone, wood, and hardened clay, the Muisca miners would carve out large blocks of rock salt, which were then processed and shaped into cakes or loaves for transport and trade. The control of the Zipaquirá mines, along with others in the region like Nemocón and Tausa, was a primary source of power and wealth for the Muisca ruler, the Zipa, from whose title the town derives its name, and the salt trade facilitated the development of a complex, stratified society with specialized labor and extensive interregional connections. The archaeological significance of Zipaquirá lies not in a single artifact or structure, but in the sheer industrial scale of the ancient mining operations and the evidence of the complex social organization required to manage the labor, production, and distribution of this vital mineral. While the original Muisca tunnels are now deep within the modern mine's extensive labyrinth, their existence and the centuries of relentless work they represent testify to one of the most advanced and prosperous pre-Hispanic economies in the Americas. The site, therefore, offers a unique narrative of cultural continuity, where an ancient industrial practice begun before the Common Era was first taken over and expanded by the Spanish and has now been transformed into a site of modern religious tourism, creating a powerful palimpsest of Colombian history, from Muisca chiefdom to colonial enterprise to contemporary wonder, all rooted in the deep subterranean wealth of the earth.
The ceramic art of the Tumaco people. On the Pacific coast of Colombia, the Tumaco La Tolita culture flourished from around 300 years before the Common Era to 300 years after the Common Era, leaving behind an artistic legacy in clay that is unparalleled in the pre-Columbian world for its stunning realism, intricate detail, and captivating expression of human and spiritual life. The archaeological sites associated with this culture, which spanned the border region between modern Colombia and Ecuador, are characterized by an incredible abundance of finely crafted ceramic figurines and artifacts, often found in burial contexts or as offerings in the extensive shell mounds that dot the mangrove-lined coastline. The Tumaco artists displayed an extraordinary talent for capturing the human form, creating figurines that depict a wide range of individuals, with a focus on portraiture, individuality, and scenes from daily life, showcasing elaborate hairstyles, body paint, jewelry, and textiles with meticulous care. A dominant theme in their art is shamanic transformation and the spirit world, with many figures depicted in a state of ecstatic trance, often with closed or half-closed eyes, open mouths, and contorted bodies, reflecting the use of hallucinogenic plants like yahe to communicate with the supernatural. Common motifs include figures in the process of transforming into jaguars or other powerful animals, emphasizing the shaman's ability to traverse different realms of existence. They also produced detailed ceramic models of houses, which provide invaluable insight into their architectural styles, which featured raised platforms and palm-thatched roofs adapted to the wet environment. The technical skill of Tumaco potters was exceptional, employing fine line incision, punctuation, and negative painting to create complex geometric and figurative designs on their vessels. The discovery of this vast corpus of ceramics has revealed a sophisticated culture with a distinct aesthetic vision, deeply connected to the unique ecosystem of the Pacific coast and focused on representing the human form, the experience of altered states of consciousness, and the vibrant interplay between the natural and spiritual worlds with a level of artistry and sensitivity that remains profoundly moving to this day.
The Muisca mummies of Sachica, in a dry, secluded cave near the town of Sachica in the Boyacá department, a remarkable and rare archaeological discovery was made, a collection of naturally mummified human remains belonging to the Muisca people, dating from the 13th to the 16th centuries after the Common Era. The unique microclimate of the cave, characterized by low humidity, constant temperature, and good ventilation, caused the bodies to desiccate and undergo natural mummification, preserving not only the skin, hair, and nails of the individuals, but also the intricate cotton textiles in which they were wrapped and the personal ornaments with which they were buried. This preservation provides an incredibly rare and direct window into the physical appearance, health, diet, and funerary practices of the Muisca, offering a level of detail that is simply unavailable from skeletal remains or artifacts alone. The bodies were found in a flexed fetal position, tightly wrapped in layers of cotton cloth, a practice that reflected a belief in returning to the earth in the position of birth and may have been intended to conserve body heat for the journey to the afterlife. Some of the mummies were adorned with gold nose rings, tunhos, small votive figures, and other jewelry, indicating they were individuals of high social status, perhaps community leaders or shamans. The Sachica mummies are an archaeological treasure of immense importance because organic remains of this antiquity rarely survive in the cool, damp highlands of the Andes. They offer tangible, human-scale evidence that complements the rich material culture of gold and ceramics for which the Muisca are famous, allowing scientists to study aspects of life such as parasitic load, dental health, and even genetic history. These mummies give a face and a form to the ancient Muisca, transforming them from abstract historical figures into real people with individual stories, making the past feel immediate and profoundly human, and providing an irreplaceable resource for understanding the population that built one of the great civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas.
The gold workshops of the Malagana culture. The story of the Malagana culture is one of both breathtaking discovery and profound archaeological tragedy. In 1992, during a routine sugarcane harvest on the Hacienda Malagana in the Cauca Valley, a tractor unearthed a few gold objects, triggering a massive, uncontrolled looting frenzy that over the following weeks saw an estimated 4 tons of gold artifacts illegally excavated from the site by thousands of local treasure hunters and subsequently melted down for their bullion value, erasing an entire chapter of pre-Columbian history in a matter of days. Despite this catastrophic loss, a team of archaeologists from the Colombian Institute of Anthropology and History managed to conduct a rescue excavation, recovering and documenting several hundred exquisite pieces that had escaped the meltdown, revealing the existence of a previously unknown society that experienced a brief but spectacular florescence around the 1st century after the Common Era. The surviving Malagana goldwork is distinct and stunning, characterized by large flat pectorals, elaborate nose rings with intricate filigree-like designs, and ear ornaments featuring repoussé work depicting human faces with prominent almond-shaped eyes. The artistic style appeared suddenly,
with no clear local antecedents, suggesting possible influences from other regions or the rapid development of a unique local tradition. The site itself was revealed to be a sophisticated center of production and a burial ground for a powerful elite, but the culture's rapid rise and equally rapid collapse remain an enigma, possibly linked to environmental changes or social upheaval. The surviving artifacts, now housed in the Gold Museum in Bogotá, are therefore hauntingly beautiful relics of a lost world, a poignant reminder of the Malagana's brief moment of brilliance, and a stark warning about the irreversible damage caused by the looting of archaeological heritage, where context is destroyed and unique cultural information is lost forever, reducing masterpieces of art to mere ounces of metal.
The stone spheres of the Nariño Highlands. Scattered across the highland plains of the Nariño department, particularly in the areas surrounding the towns of Ipiales and Cumbal, archaeologists and local inhabitants have discovered numerous mysterious stone spheres, perfectly shaped artifacts that range in size from a few centimeters to over half a meter in diameter. These spheres, meticulously carved from hard volcanic rock, such as andesite, are associated with the Pasto culture and other groups that inhabited the region from approximately 500 to 1500 years after the Common Era. The purpose and meaning of these spheres remain an enduring enigma, as they lack any obvious decoration or contextual clues from their find spots. Various theories have been proposed to explain their function. They may have served as territorial markers, delineating the lands of different clans or chiefdoms. They could have been symbols of power and status, owned by chiefs or shamans. Some researchers suggest they may have had an astronomical function, used in conjunction with sight lines to mark celestial events. Or they may have been objects of ritual significance, perhaps representing celestial bodies like the sun or moon, or used in ceremonies related to fertility or ancestor worship. The technical skill required to shape these stones into perfect spheres using only other stones as tools demonstrates a high degree of craftsmanship and patience. The mystery surrounding the Nariño spheres adds to their fascination. Unlike pottery, goldwork, or burial sites, their function is not immediately apparent, inviting speculation and continuing research. Their discovery highlights the diversity of cultural expressions in ancient Colombia and serves as a humbling reminder that despite our advances, there is still much we do not understand about the beliefs, technologies, and daily lives of the peoples who inhabited these highlands centuries ago.
The burial sites of the Colima region in the Valle del Cauca department are world-renowned in archaeological circles for the stunning and diverse artistic traditions uncovered in the deep burial shafts of the cultures that successively inhabited this fertile valley, primarily the Aylama, 1500 years before the Common Era to 100 years after the Common Era, the Yotoko, 100 years before the Common Era to 1200 years after the Common Era, and the Sonso, 1200 to 1600 years after the Common Era. The dry conditions and the depth of the tombs led to the exceptional preservation of organic materials, providing a uniquely holistic view of these societies that goes beyond the glitter of gold to include the vibrant colors of textiles and feathers. Archaeologists have recovered not only magnificent gold masks, poporos, nose rings, and pectorals, but also intricately woven cotton mantles, beautifully carved wooden staffs and sculptures, and elaborate feather headdresses, allowing for a complete reconstruction of the regalia worn by Colima elites in life and death. The goldwork itself is famous for its distinct styles. The Ilama period produced simple, hammered gold ornaments. The Yotoko period is known for its mastery of casting and the creation of large, flat pectorals with intricate repoussé designs of anthropomorphic figures. And the Sonso period introduced tumbaga, a gold-copper alloy, and more schematic designs. The discovery of these rich, multi-material tombs has allowed researchers to understand that the power and status of a Kalima chief or shaman were displayed through a sophisticated combination of materials: the luminous permanence of gold, the tactile beauty of textiles, and the brilliant, ephemeral splendor of exotic bird feathers. The tombs of the Kalima region, therefore, offer an unparalleled window into the aesthetic and spiritual world of pre-Columbian Colombia, revealing cultures that valued a symphony of materials and crafts to honor their leaders and gods, creating a funerary record of breathtaking richness and complexity.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.